welcome to Better Golf. I'm Paul Dyer.
And I'm Ian Holloway.
And Ian, we're back on the tee, and we talked in a recent video about how to improve launch angle, hit the ball higher for further, but obviously at the end of the day the real number that governs how far you hit it is how fast the club moves.
Yeah, definitely. I think speed in a golf swing gives you the possibility of how far you can actually hit it, and that's really essential. So the key factor is how can we then improve the swing speed? And there's been so many studies for a few years that we need to swing weighted clubs and things like that. And with these like two clubs together, you swing it and you create some speed. And the theory was that then you would pick up a lighter club and you would actually swing the club faster. But is that so? I mean, does that actually happen?
I've never done it. I did have one of those rings you put on the club, you know, those weighted rings. I don't know what tour player was doing that hundreds of years ago, but I had one, and I did that quite religiously, and watched tapes of Faldo back then, and ended up with the swing speed that I have now, which is why
pretty low.
It's pretty low. Yeah, it's not that low, but it's pretty low. You know, I can get triple figures sometimes. But I'll tell you what, you know, when you see so many people with the two clubs together, and when I do that, I mean, I haven't done this for so many years. It feels so weird to do it, because you can even feel that, yeah, I get it. You know, I mean, when people are warming up and you just want to get loose and so forth, I'm sure it's not going to be a big problem to do that a couple of times. But really, you don't need both, because they make you so slow doing it together. And you know, when you get one, you know, as you said, the idea is that you suddenly swing much quicker because you've had two. Yeah. You might do, but that's not going to make you faster long term. And obviously we see it differently anyway in terms of what you need to do to swing faster.
Exactly. So I think with what we know now, one of the best things to do is actually turn the club upside down and make it lighter, and try and create as much speed with the light club as possible. So Paul, you demonstrate that. So just... Well, let's use a driver there, because obviously we're talking about the driver, so let's put that in the hand. So we turn the driver upside down, and what I like to see players do is they swing back to the top of the backswing, and then from there they swing down and try and create as much speed and sound as they possibly can. Now, when you do this maybe 2 or 3 times, you get the feeling of how much energy you have to put into things in order to create that whoosh that happens there by the ball. And then when Paul would then turn the club upside down, the sensation would be a little bit different to when he would have the two clubs in his hand. There's a lot more swing in the club head, which is going to influence how far the ball goes.
I think you get a really good feeling for the timing of the whole thing, which you definitely don't with the weighted clubs. You know, with the weighted clubs, I just felt long and slow and very much together. Yeah. You know, and that was something from the 90s, wasn't it? You know, back together, through together. And as we now know, that's actually not what speed's about at all. And I got a great feeling for the body firing and transferring the energy to the grip end.
And that's really it in a nutshell. You've got to put the energy into the club head. At the moment, the club head hits the golf ball. And that really is the key to it. And I think that's a great little way for people to go away and practice a little bit. And not only will that help the swing speed, but it will also help maybe the sequence as well, which is something that we talk about quite a lot in instruction.
Absolutely. So better golfers, we don't want to see you swinging two clubs. We don't want to see any weighted stuff anymore. We want to see you turning the club upside down, swishing it through the air, creating the biggest speed you can. And I'm sure that will help you hit it just as far as me.